Who's got the upper hand then for the Clasico? It could be an absolutely pivotal Clasico at this juncture in the season, with Barca holding a 2-point lead over Real Madrid. They've only recently established that, of course. Here are the odds. And after the Champions League week that Real Madrid have had, a very disappointing home loss, they're still favourites, Craig. Of course, it is being played at the Bernabeu.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason they're favourites. If you watch the performance, if anybody saw their performance against Man City, it wasn't very good. Neither was their performance against Levante in the league away, which was the game before. Didn't think Thibaut Courtois was great for the goal. It was a 1-0 defeat. Pretty pedestrian performance. And then the City game was a weird one because City set up in such a way with Jesus kind of on the left and De Bruyne pushing through the middle with Silva a little bit. It was a little defensive from City. You might say it was good tactics, but it was a little bit defensive to hit on the counter. But yet Real Madrid really, they had one effort and goal in the first half. It was a Benzema header. They did get better in the second half, but they were not great again. They've got the injuries to Hazard, who's out. Bale come off the bench, but really had no impact. I suppose Vinicius Jr. was their best player at that point. Ramos got sent off again. So the pressure's piling up for Zinedine Zidane off the back of these performances.
Of course, Madrid are error-prone at the moment, and Barcelona are reliant on Messi. Is it going to be a case of, effectively, it's all his to win or lose?
Yeah, I mean, if he has a pretty poor game, then obviously the chances for the Real Madrid side of things improves greatly. It's weird how it all sort of changes quickly. It doesn't seem that long ago that we had the sacking of Valverde, the comments from Abidal, the then comments back from Mr. Messi himself and from Jordi Alba. Then there was the injury to Suarez. Well, that came before. All the nonsense with the non-emergency signing of Martin Braithwaite from Leganes and the fallout of that. And yet, somehow here they are, back at top of the league. Right. I suppose Messi's 4 goals last week against Eibar would help, but it just seemed as if this house was on fire 6 weeks ago, and now it's starting to burn this end. It's amazing how quickly it changes, and that's why this game is, I think, so tight. But I think it's pivotal for Real Madrid to get back on the horse and start riding again.
The first game of the season was really disappointing between them and feeling each other out. Do you think that they'll be more adventurous in this one? Real Madrid would seem to have more pressure to go and try and win the game.
A lot of people watch a Clasico, and when there's not a bundle of goals or red cards, get disappointed. I wasn't as disappointed as most because I think there was things within the game that were quite enjoyable. Just because it's not hell for leather, 4-4, 9 men apiece at the end of the game, doesn't mean it's not a great game. So I think we will. I think we'll have a good spectacle. Obviously Real Madrid are not the Real Madrid of old, of 3 Champions Leagues in a row where they were expansive. They had Ronaldo. The players were a little bit younger, particularly in the middle of the park, which is where they've struggled a little bit. Casemiro, Modric, Kroos, young Valverde's come in to try and give them some legs. But I think we'll see a better game. I think we'll see a more entertaining game, plenty of goals, and if I don't see a red card, I'll be surprised.
Hard to call for you? Or do you think that he'll go and light up the Bernabeu again?
I fancy Real Madrid to start to get back on that bike and put them under a bit of pressure again. Particularly being at home, I think I do err towards Real Madrid for a result.
Okay.
But who knows?
To keep the title race very interesting.
I think it will be interesting.
Okay, if Barca win it, of course, they'll stretch the lead to 5 points. That'll really put the pressure on Zidane and co. Real Madrid would hate to end the week with 2 home defeats, particularly against this lot.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.